All right, so for those of you who don't follow me on Instagram, I was on Instagram a few days ago. Just hold on, give me a second to find this page. I was on Instagram a few days ago explaining drainage when I talk about drainage with homeopathics, explaining what I mean by your different emunctories and elimination pathways and whatnot. I was going to film this in my office downstairs, but the lighting is much better here and it's going to get dark. So I'm going to try to do this quick, not answering too many questions, but I really want to explain drainage in a very simplistic way that everyone hopefully can understand. So you like, hopefully it'll just be like a light bulb moment for you when I explain it and you can understand a little bit more about your body and what's actually happening. When I refer to drainage, I am and what to do about it, I'm referring to when I work with clients and I'm using homeopathics for drainage. But I still want to explain this so you guys understand actually how your body's working. So I have this book here. It's the one I give out to a lot of clients if I have them on undone numbers, because it just explains a little bit about what drainage is, what we're doing with the body. So there's a picture on page 5 right here with this water bucket. I'm just going to hold it up for a second so you guys can see. So it's hard to do this with one hand, so I'm going to try. As you can see, there's the bucket and it has it's an overflowing bucket of water and it has the different, I guess, sources of toxins that you'll come in contact with. So you'll see things on here like medications that people are taking, and that's also things like Advil and Tylenol and whatnot. Toxic food. Within toxic food, there's, you're exposed to glyphosate. In our drinking water, there's hormones, antibiotics, birth control. So all of this is considered toxins. And then toxic homes. So tons of paint that contains VOCs, mold in our homes, dampness, etc. So toxic homes, dust, and then heavy metals, which is in our drinking water. It's everywhere. And then any other things in your life, whether it's stress and whatnot, these are all different toxins, and these are toxins that build up in the body or accumulate in your body. And so what this picture is showing is that at the bottom you can see it's dripping out, so drainage, and at the top it's overflowing. So essentially what the picture is trying to say is that most people in our world today are accumulating more more toxins than we are eliminating or draining from the body. And that's when your disease starts. So they're saying that when the bucket overflows, you get symptoms of toxicity. So at this point, most patients will see a doctor and are prescribed medications for their symptoms. If your bucket has not overflowed yet, so if there's not more toxins than you're able to excrete at one time, you won't have symptoms, so you won't think there's anything wrong. So before I get into more detail, when someone comes to me and they say that they are, not too toxic, they just have acne or they just have eczema or just have something, but they're very healthy overall. What I always say to them is, well, if you didn't have too much toxicity, you would not have the symptoms that you're having. And that's what we're talking about when we say drainage. What we want to do is see this bucket here again. What we want is to drain all of this fluid from the bucket through down here, and I'm going to explain exactly what I mean when I say symptoms. So if you picture your secondary emunctories, which are, I've written a blog post on this, but I'll just quickly explain it here. So your secondary emunctories are things like your skin, your mucous membrane, so your like sinuses, vaginal tract, things like that. Your primary emunctories are going to be your liver, your kidneys, and your colon. Woo, losing the page. It's hard to do this with one hand. At the very top, if you picture up here to be your skin and your sinuses, your mucous membranes, even your respiratory system, if you picture those up here, and then you picture your liver and kidneys down here where that tap is, and I hope I'm making sense, guys. If you picture that, when your system gets overwhelmed, so when more toxins are filling up the bucket than are leaving the bucket, you start to get symptoms of toxicity, which means they're escaping through your secondary emunctories. Your body is like, okay, well, our primary emunctories cannot keep up, so our liver and kidneys cannot keep up with this heavy toxic load that the body's exposed to. So we got to push it out of the body somehow, and it pushes it out through your secondary emunctories. So you'll get skin conditions, as that's one of the secondary emunctories, toxins leaving the skin, whether it's acne, eczema, psoriasis, melasma, seborrheic dermatitis, etc. Either it'll escape through there or it'll go through your mucous membranes, which is another secondary emunctory. So you'll get vaginal yeast infections or just chronic vaginal discharge, or you'll get sinusitis, postnasal drip, any sort of chronic respiratory condition, or you'll get things like respiratory symptoms, where toxins are leaving through your lungs, things like bronchitis, pneumonia, etc., asthma. If you have a display of symptoms like this in these secondary emunctories, it means that your system is overwhelmed. And it means your liver and kidney, so your primary emunctories, are not draining quick enough. So what we are doing with, I hope this is making sense. If it makes sense, put a thumbs up in the chat, just so I know that I'm not confusing you guys even more. So if you're looking at the bucket here, you'll see that you have this down here, which when I talk about this little tap, I'm talking about liver and kidneys as your primary emunctories. And at the top of the bucket is where your secondary emunctories would be. So when the bucket's filling up, and it's not leaving down here quick enough through your liver and kidneys, it goes out through your secondary emunctories, like like your skin, like your mucous membranes, your respiratory system. What we want is to bring those symptoms back away from those secondary emunctories. So pull the toxins, yay, awesome. Pull the toxins away from your mucous membrane, so away from your sinuses, away from your skin, away from your respiratory system. Stop all the coughing, stop the skin conditions, stop the runny nose and things like that, and push them all back down here. And how do we do that? We do that by drainage. So we drain the liver and kidneys so toxins can zoop right down really quickly and escape through your liver and kidneys where they should be going in the first place. Your body should not be utilizing, awesome, so happy you guys are understanding what I'm saying. Your body should not be utilizing your secondary emunctories for this type of toxicity. Usually you want to breathe, when you breathe out CO2, your body's excreting toxins. When you are sweating from a workout, your body's excreting toxins. If you get a cold or a flu, your body will excrete toxins quickly through your sinuses because that's the best way to eliminate it. But that's it. Overall, you should not be having all of the toxins that are in your body escaping through these secondary emunctories, because that's not what they're designed to do. If you are doing a candida cleanse, for example, and people are like, I get either major headaches or I get major sinus problems like runny nose, or I break out in rashes. What's happening is as you candida cleanse, candida and parasites hold on to heavy metals in the body, viruses and other toxins. So when you cleanse, if you are cleansing without draining, then the bucket will overflow even more and you'll get a surge in those symptoms. So a worsening of your skin issues as more toxins are leaving through your secondary emunctories. Is this making sense? Let me know. So what we want to do is, I always say this over and over again, if you're doing candida cleansing, parasite cleansing, and whatever else you're doing, you have to support drainage. So that way, as toxins are coming up, they're still leaving the body and not going out through the secondary emunctories. Your skin, like I said, is great if you're sweating. That's what these little glands are. For very minimal toxins, the majority should be leaving through our liver and kidneys. And that's where homeopathics come in. Homeopathics are the only drainers that I know of out there that will actually drain. So herbs can be great. There's so many supplements out there that are good for liver cleansing, but not drainage. And the only problem with just cleansing in general without draining is that you can bring up more toxins initially than your body can excrete. So you will usually get a surge in your symptoms. What herbs are great for are for rebuilding your liver. So after you've drained your liver and kidneys, your liver can regenerate itself. So taking things like milk thistle, dandelion, beets, betaine, etc. is great to rebuild and make your liver healthy again. But homeopathics are the main drainers, and that's why I use them. But that's what I'm trying to explain. So when we drain, we also will, of course, drain the respiratory system at some point. Usually everyone would need drainage in each body system. So respiratory system, your skin, your sinuses, your mucous membranes, and the rest of it. But liver and kidneys are primary, and liver and kidneys need to be done for a long period of time. And they need to always be supported throughout every single phase or every cleanse, because say you're cleansing from heavy metals and you already have a lot of inflammation and toxicity. Where are those heavy metals supposed to go if you're not pulling them out through your liver and kidneys? They'll escape through another emunctory, and it'll cause major inflammation, major damage, major stress on the body, as these emunctories, like your skin and sinuses, are not meant to be handling that heavy toxic load. So I hope I'm making sense here. That was the point of this video, was to explain that picture. I had gone on Instagram and I had shown that picture just really quickly, and a lot of people seemed a little bit more confused than before. So I thought I would just come on here, and that way it's permanent. So with drainage, what happens in your body is every time you're stressed or you eat a bad food or you put a bad makeup products on or whatever, you're outside breathing in car fumes and all the rest of it, it builds up in your body. Your liver and kidneys should be able to handle this toxic load, but it's very hard for them when you think of all the toxins we are exposed to on a daily basis. Back in the day, we didn't have EMFs, we didn't have glyphosate, we didn't have lead in our makeup products, we didn't even have makeup at all. Everything was so natural that the toxins you would get from a bit of stress or from something else, your body can totally handle. But because we're just bombarded with toxins more and more as medications are being pushed, as vaccinations are being pushed, and I'm not saying not to get vaccinations, but you can't deny that there are toxins in them. So everywhere we go, there are toxins, and it's really hard to avoid them. And I think that they're there unnecessarily. Like certain toxins and vaccinations I don't believe need to be there, as well as in medication. So when we are exposed to these on a daily basis, our primary emunctories are overwhelmed, and that's why we get symptoms, is because the toxins are being pushed out of our body somehow, and in a way that's not ideal or shouldn't actually happen. So the next time, if you have acne or you get, runny nose and things like that, you have to think about, why are you having these symptoms? And then rather than just like going to the doctor, getting a medication to mask the symptoms, you have to fix the root cause. And the root cause is always your primary emunctories are not functioning well. Skin conditions are you always have to support liver, kidneys, as it just means toxins are leaving through the skin because they can't leave through those primary elimination pathways. Toxins, there's always a fungal component as well. As usually for most people, I find that fungal overgrowth or parasitic overgrowth are the majority of the toxins being produced in the body day in and day out. So you always want to address that to get rid of that toxic load. I'm just scrolling through some comments here. So your lymph nodes, yeah. So your lymphatic system is a detoxification pathway. It technically is a primary, in my opinion, primary and secondary, because it acts as both. Toxins are always going to be flowing through your lymphatic system, but it dumps it into different parts. So if you have a lot of toxins in your lymphatic system and your liver and kidneys are not functioning, it's going to dump them into the blood, and they're going to escape through somewhere else. It's going to escape probably through your skin, and you'll notice pus and things like that. And that's your lymphatic system is literally dumping toxins via the skin because it can't escape through liver and kidneys. So I always do lymphatic drainage no matter what. But you want to support the primaries, liver, kidneys. If you get swollen lymph nodes and things like that, it's just a backed up lymphatic system because toxins are not escaping through the liver and kidneys, so they're building up in the body and trickling out through the skin and other areas. So to clear the lymph nodes and all of that, you need to drain, and again, drain from liver and kidneys as the primary. If you already have things like asthma and respiratory systems, you would also at the same time want to drain from your respiratory system. The only time you don't want to drain through a system would be the skin. If you have skin issues, you never want to drain through the skin as it'll flare. But if you have a respiratory issue, you can drain through the respiratory system as well as liver, kidneys. But liver and kidneys are always the primary. Yeah, sweating is good. If you sweat like crazy when you're detoxing, that's good. Your body's pushing toxins out. The only time it gets to be a problem is if you are breaking out or you're getting some major headaches or anything else with it. Rosacea is specifically to do with the stomach. Definitely if you're flaring, it's from inflammation, but not so much toxins leaving the skin as it is with, you have an underactive stomach usually, and you're not digesting your food well, which is creating, undigested food is entering your bloodstream as undigested particles, creating inflammation, which is creating heat. So that's usually where eczema comes from. Let's see. Burdock is great for the liver and the lymphatic system, but it's not a drainer. It's a detoxifier. It'll push toxins and move toxins, but a lot of times it can detox your body too quickly, and again, it'll go out through the primary and secondary emunctories. Sorry. I have not read The Amazing Liver and Gallbladder Flush. I'm just scrolling. So I'm not answering everybody's questions here because there's a lot and I need to sign off. We are going up north tomorrow. So I have to pack still. I have, how do we drain? Drain through homeopathics. There are over 1,000 of the unda numbers, and then there's about another probably 500 to 1,000 of the other homeopathics. So literally for every person, it's different. It's completely different. As you look at the person's personality, you look at their current symptoms, their history, their past traumas, and based off of all of that, plus nutrient deficiencies, etc., and symptoms, you then create a specific homeopathic plan for that person. So not everyone can be on the same homeopathics, which is why I never recommend a specific, drainage or drainage protocol for everyone, because with holistic, not just medicine, but holistic health in general, everyone's individualized. So there's not like a one size protocol for everybody. If you use homeopathics and you choose the wrong ones for yourself, they either don't work or they can push toxins in the wrong area and you can flare in a certain area. So you always have to make sure you're using the right remedies for your specific needs. So you don't, yes, well, everyone will have to fix their gut. I'm just responding to Alex Lee. Yes, fix your gut, of course, but you have to look more at your stomach. Rosacea is always to do with the stomach. Besides homeopathics, what can we do to support drainage? So homeopathics, like I said, are the only drainage remedies out there, as that's how they were designed. Homeopathics were designed a long time ago, hundreds of years ago, but they were designed as drainage remedies, and that's why they are the only drainage remedies out there. There are different companies that make homeopathics, but homeopathics are the only drainers. There are detoxifiers, like I said, lemon, chlorophyll, milk thistle, dandelion, betaine, etc. There's a lot of herbs and things you can take to detox, but not to drain. So drainage only can come from what I know, it only can come from homeopathics. But you can still detox. So I always say, like, hot lemon water, do your chlorophyll, like do the basics to get toxins flowing the right direction. What you'll at least be pushing toxins out through your liver to a certain degree. And then there are herbs like the Renew Life phase 1 and phase 2. There's alpha omega, the alpha omega liver flush. Those are all good to do. But if you want drainage, and essentially it just means that you're going to get the quickest results, it would be homeopathics. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, I skipped a lot of questions, guys. Sorry. I'm going to sign off now. I do have a lot to do, but I really hope this clarified things. I hope this makes sense. I know I always just throw words around like drainage and emunctories and stuff without actually explaining it. So hopefully this explains it for you and explains why you have the symptoms that you do. If you've had asthma your whole life, or if you had acne, or essentially any symptom, I cannot talk. If you've had any symptoms, then you always want to look back and why do you have them? And it usually comes back down to more toxins are filling the bucket than are draining, than are leaving. So you want to support that drainage, get toxins out, and your symptoms will alleviate. I've had clients who've had like asthma their entire life, who've had sinus problems their entire life, seasonal allergies their entire life, skin conditions their entire life, and they're completely gone just by doing drainage. The longer you've had a symptom, the longer you need to drain. But once you do, your body resets, and your liver and kidneys can keep up with that toxic load. And going forward, you just make sure that you're doing things to support your detoxification every day. So after you've drained, if you do some hot lemon water or some herbal teas a couple times a week, eat your greens, take some probiotics, just be relatively healthy, then you won't accumulate a massive toxic load and your body can keep up with it. The only reason why we accumulate such a toxic load is because we don't tend to do anything for our health until we get symptoms. Some people are healthy, their entire life, but most of the time we eat bad food, we're very stressed, we wear toxic makeup, use toxic home cleaning products, take medications, etc. And we don't actually say, all right, it's time to cleanse or drink hot lemon water, do healthy things until it's too late, until we already are displaying symptoms. So once you drain, get rid of those symptoms again, rebalance your system, achieve homeostasis, then just maintain by being relatively healthy. You don't have to live a strict and crazy intense life anymore. You just have to for the most part, be as healthy as you can, and obviously try to avoid things like high fructose corn syrup and eating food dyes like those slushies or Slurpees you get from convenience stores. Like, there's certain things you just don't want to put in your body, but you can go and enjoy these foods once in a while and not stress that your liver and kidneys aren't going to be able to handle it, because they will once you drain and you kind of are restarting your system. So I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense. Yes, I would avoid coffee. It's not toxic. It's not that it's bad for you, but it's a very acidic, and it can flush minerals from your system, and it strains the adrenals, and it can cause inflammation. So when you're so toxic and so strained and have a lot of inflammation, I say just avoid coffee. Once you rebalance, I don't see what's, enjoy it. I obviously don't overdo it. People who drink a few cups a day, I think that's very excessive, but there's no reason why you can't enjoy it. So anyways, I'm going to sign off, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be uploading the YouTube video and giveaway probably early next week for hitting 30,000 subscribers. So stay tuned for that. But I really hope you guys have an awesome weekend, and we'll chat soon. Bye.